Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. Today we're going to have a play with the MC8. Specifically work on the 1950s inspired white wall effect beadlocks. I do rather like them in white, but I think it's a bit United Nations rather than camo military. Now, we could mess about with some masking tape, but I think it's going to be easier just to take all the rings off. But that does mean just over 100 very small screws to deal with. Makes me wish I'd gone for the MC6. Turns out the quality of the screws isn't all that good. Some of the heads are malformed, giving the Allen key no purchase. They're fairly easy to deal with using some pliers though. I'll keep the worst ones to one side and use them on the spare wheel, as it won't really matter if we can't do them up all the way. With all the rings off, we need to get them ready for paint. All I've done is thoroughly wash them. I reckon the white paint already there will be an okay base. Going over them with some fine grit paper probably wouldn't hurt, but I think we're going to get away without. To make them easier to paint, I've stuck them all to a bit of scrap hardboard, just a small blob of blue tack on each. First we'll spray a couple of thin coats of primer, just enough to get a nice even covering, and we'll leave that to dry overnight. Next, a couple of coats of the same matte green we used on the body. It's all just bog standard Halfords paint, so nothing special. It'll probably get scratched up a bit, but that'll just add to the aesthetic. Now for the fun bit, reinstalling the 100 odd screws. I'll do the spare wheel first, using the screws with the ropey heads on the inside. They're a bit of a pain to get in. If you're careful though, you can grab the heads with some pliers and ease them in. If I were doing it again, I think I'd just order up a bag of replacement screws from a good source. I didn't measure them, but the rest of the kit is metric, so they'll probably be an M1.6 or maybe even an M2, which of course is easy enough to source in good quantity. With the rings back on the wheels, we can put it all back together. Wheels on, followed by the little hubcaps, which by the way fit some wheels better than others. The size of the hole in the wheel and the size of the cap do vary a bit, but if you swap them around, there's usually a combination that means they'll all fit in well enough that they're not going to fall out. And there we go. That looks far better, I reckon. A lot more military. Like it. Well, that's pretty much it, I'm afraid. Just time for a quick look at something else. On the front of the cab, just below the bumper, we have a set of LEDs. I'm sure you can guess what they're for. A little bit of inspiration from the 1980s. You may remember this truck has the full light kit fitted, which gives us control of the headlights, indicators, and all that good stuff from the transmitter. It also lets us turn a couple of auxiliary circuits on and off. So here we have CAR, Night Automated Roving Robot. Yeah, I could have gone with kit and the red lights, but that's so overdone. We're getting a bit of interference with the camera. You can see the dim LEDs appear to blink. If I change the shutter speed, it won't be visible, like so. Of course, in person it looks as smooth as silk, but if you were a pigeon it would probably be quite an interesting little light show. If you didn't want to install the full light kit, it'll just as easily plug directly into a spare slot in the receiver, and be always running. If all goes to plan, they will be available along with 1 or 2 pre-built LED arrays sometime in January, which probably means it will run into February. I've also got some other bits I've finally nearly got ready too. Should be fun. There we go then. I hope you enjoyed the ring painting and many short screws. Thanks for watching. If you did like, then do please hit the like button, and if you're not already, why not subscribe? It's free after all. Bye guys.